The skin. Look, you're not just inside your body. You're wrapped in 22 square feet of living armor that breathes, feels, and honestly, knows way more than you do. Most people think skin is just biological bubble wrap to keep your insides from leaking out. Wrong. It's your biggest sensory organ and a high-stakes chemical lab. While you're busy doom scrolling, your skin is out here crunching data. It's checking temp and humidity. It's deciding how much water you can afford to lose before you turn into a human raisin. Here's the kicker. It's an early warning system. Those goosebumps? That's not just being cold. It's your skin sensing micro shifts in pressure and static electricity before your brain even gets the memo. People drop a fortune on creams, but the real flex is that your skin rebuilds itself from scratch every 27 days. You're literally a brand new person every month and you didn't even notice. If you think skin is just a passive shell, try going a minute without it. Exactly. Survival starts right here, on the edge where you meets the rest of the world. But if the skin is the wall, wait until you see the secret bunker doctors tried to ignore for decades. The appendix. For decades, doctors treated this thing like the human equivalent of that random junk drawer in your kitchen. You know the one, full of dead batteries, mystery keys, and menus for pizza places that closed in 2012. We were told it was just a useless evolutionary glitch, a ticking time bomb waiting to burst and ruin your weekend. But it turns out, your appendix is actually your body's most elite survival bunker. Think of it as a high-tech backup drive for your gut. When you get a nasty stomach bug, the kind that clears out your entire digestive system like a brutal factory reset, you lose all your good bacteria. That's a disaster. Without those microbes, your immune system basically goes offline. But the appendix is tucked away, shielded from the chaos, holding a pristine seed bank of your best bacteria. Once the storm passes, the appendix opens its doors and repopulates the neighborhood. It's a literal biological reboot. So, while your surgeon might say you don't need it to survive a Monday morning, your microbiome would beg to differ. It's the ultimate insurance policy you didn't know you were paying for. Basically, you've been carrying a secret undo button in your gut this whole time. But if the appendix is the bunker, the next organ is the 24/7 chemical refinery that's currently keeping you from poisoning yourself. The liver. If your body was a corporation, this thing would be the overworked intern who's actually running the entire C-suite. We give it a lot of grief, mostly after a Friday night out, but it's doing way more than just filtering out your bad decisions. The liver is a 24/7 chemical refinery performing over 500 different jobs at the same time. It's a warehouse for vitamins, a battery for your blood sugar, and a customs agent that decides which nutrients get a green light and which ones are toxic trash. But here is the real kicker. The liver is the only organ you own that's basically a superhero. Why? Because it's functionally immortal. You could cut away 70% of your liver, and it would just grow back, like a lizard tail, but tucked inside your abdomen. It's the Prometheus of your torso. Without it, your blood would turn into a toxic sludge in a matter of hours. It's constantly cleaning, sorting, and manufacturing the proteins that keep you from bleeding out from a tiny paper cut. It's the most resilient piece of hardware you own, and you probably haven't even thanked it today. Seriously, go drink some water. Your liver is sweating bullets in there. But while the liver is busy refining the chemicals, there's a smaller, darker organ nearby acting as a ruthless military academy for your blood. The spleen. It's that one organ everyone's heard of, but nobody can actually point to on a map. For a long time, we thought it was just a spare part, like that one extra screw you find at the bottom of the box after building an IKEA desk. But in reality, the spleen is a high-security blood bank and a ruthless military academy combined into one. Its first job is quality control. Think of it as the ultimate bouncer for your red blood cells. If a cell is getting old, stiff, or just isn't pulling its weight anymore, the spleen pulls it aside and recycles it. It's a 24/7 audit of your entire circulatory system. But here's the secret feature. The spleen is basically a built-in emergency blood transfusion. When you're sprinting for the bus or, running for your life, the spleen contracts. It literally squeezes a fresh supply of oxygen-rich blood into your system to give you an extra boost. It's like a biological NOS tank for your body. Plus, it's where your body's elite soldiers, the monocytes, hang out in massive numbers, just waiting for a signal to go to war against an infection. It's the backup you didn't know you had, sitting there quietly under your ribs. But as cool as a blood-squeezing tank is, it's nothing compared to the second brain that's actually pulling your strings from deep inside your gut. The intestines. Most people just see 30 feet of slimy garden hose that handles your lunch. But that tube is actually the most influential puppet master in your body. It's called the second brain for a reason. Your gut is lined with over 100 million neurons. To put that in perspective, your intestines have more brain power than a cat's entire head. It's an independent processing center that doesn't even need to ask your skull for permission to act. And here's the real mind blower. About 95% of your body's serotonin, the stuff that makes you feel happy and not like a total wreck, is produced right there in your gut, not your brain. If your gut is unhappy, you're unhappy. Period. It's a two-way street called the gut-brain axis. Ever get a gut feeling that something's wrong? Or butterflies before a big meeting? That's not poetry. That's your second brain literally screaming at your first brain through the vagus nerve. It's a high-speed data cable connecting your dinner to your mood. You're not just eating food, you're feeding the control room that dictates your mental health for the next 3 days. So maybe think twice before that third taco. Your gut is watching. But while your gut is busy, deciding if you're going to have a mental breakdown, your lungs are secretly moonlighting in a job they weren't even hired for, making blood. The lungs. Everyone thinks they're just two big pink sponges that inflate like a cheap air mattress. You breathe in, you breathe out, you don't die. Simple, right? Well, scientists recently realized that your lungs have a massive side hustle they kept secret for centuries. They're actually producing blood, specifically platelets. Those tiny, sticky little guys that stop you from leaking like a broken faucet when you scrape your knee. For a long time, we thought the bone marrow did all the heavy lifting for blood production. But it turns out your lungs are churning out over 10 million platelets every single hour. That's more than half of your body's total supply. So, your lungs aren't just oxygen tanks. They're a high-output manufacturing plant for your circulatory system. Think about that next time you're out of breath. Your lungs are multitasking like a college student on finals week, keeping you oxygenated while simultaneously making sure your blood actually works. They are literally the unsung heroes of your blood pressure. It's a wild level of efficiency we didn't even suspect until a few years ago. But if you think the lungs moonlighting as a blood factory is weird, wait until you see your skeleton. Those hard white things aren't just a cage to keep your guts in place. They're actually a massive endocrine battery that dictates how you burn sugar. The bones. Think of your bones as that dry, dusty skeleton in a Halloween store. Dead, static, just a cage for your organs and a place for your muscles to hang out. Well, joke's on us. Your skeleton isn't just a chassis for your meat sack. It's actually a massive endocrine battery that's currently hacking your metabolism. Your bones leak a hormone called osteocalcin, and it's a total game changer for your health. This stuff tells your pancreas to pump out insulin like it's going out of style, keeping your blood sugar from spiking into the stratosphere. But it doesn't stop there. This bone juice actually boosts your memory and, get this, cranks up your testosterone levels. It's basically the master controller for your energy. If your bones stopped talking to the rest of you, you'd be tired, forgetful, and probably diabetic by next Tuesday. It turns out the hardest part of you is actually doing some of the softest chemical work. It's a literal smart grid for your body, adjusting your power levels in real time while you're just trying to walk to the fridge. You're not just carrying a skeleton, you're being piloted by one. But as weird as bone hormones sound, they pale in comparison to the ghost organ we didn't even realize existed until 2018. The invisible, fluid-filled web that connects every single piece of you. The interstitium. Imagine discovering a whole new continent on Earth in the year 2018. Sounds impossible, right? Well, that's exactly what happened inside your body just a few years ago. Doctors spent centuries slicing and dicing, but they missed this because their old techniques flattened human tissue and squeezed all the fluid out. It was like looking at a dried-out, flattened sponge and forgetting it was ever supposed to be full of water. The interstitium is a vast, interconnected web of fluid-filled compartments that wraps around every single one of your organs. It's essentially the dark matter of human biology. It's everywhere, but it was invisible to us. This ghost organ acts as a massive shock absorber, keeping your lungs from bruising your ribs and your skin from tearing off your muscles when you move. But here's the high-stakes part. It's a biological highway. It's how fluid moves between your tissues, and unfortunately, it's also the primary route cancer uses to hitchhike across your body. It's the missing link that explains how you are one single, unified creature instead of just a bag of random parts. Your body isn't a collection of separate Lego bricks. It's a fluid, vibrating system where everything is talking to everything else, 24/7. So, the next time you look in the mirror, remember, you're not just a person. You're a walking, breathing, high-tech miracle that's still revealing its secrets to the people with the microscopes. Stay curious, because clearly your own body hasn't even finished introducing itself to you yet. The map is still being drawn.